Welcome to the Echoes of Ihsan podcast, where we kind of take these deep dives into Islamic sources and we try to uncover those timeless gems of wisdom that can still kind of guide us today, you know?
Yeah.
And today, we're going on a journey into the world of Islamic etiquette. We're going to be flipping through the pages of Sahih Muslim Hadith, Book 26, on salutations and greetings.
I think what's really fascinating about this book is that it really goes beyond just, simple pleasantries.
Right?
It gives us a glimpse into how early Muslim society was structured,
Right.
how people interacted with each other, the values that they upheld, and how they really went about building that sense of community.
It's like we're getting a backstage pass to Medina.
Yes.
Like going back in time to the Prophet Muhammad's city and seeing how people interacted and, the everyday customs and courtesies that really shape their lives.
Yeah.
I'm already intrigued by some of the specifics. Like, there are specific greetings for different situations.
Right.
It's almost like a secret code of respect.
Absolutely. And these weren't just like empty gestures or anything.
Right.
Each interaction, each greeting was imbued with a deeper meaning, reflecting, core Islamic values like humility, respect, and recognizing the inherent dignity of every individual.
Yeah. I mean, you can't just go around giving everyone the same greeting. You have to understand,
Exactly.
where they're coming from and how you should be addressing them.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's unpack some of these fascinating customs. One that I noticed right away is Hadith 5374, which talks about who should initiate greetings based on like different scenarios.
Okay.
So like, for example, the rider greets the pedestrian first,
Right.
the pedestrian greets the seated person, and the smaller group greets the larger one.
It's almost like a choreographed dance
It is.
of courtesy, isn't it?
It is.
But I think what it really beautifully highlights is that Islamic emphasis on taking the initiative to spread peace and acknowledge others. It's about consciously stepping outside of yourself and extending that gesture of goodwill.
It's a powerful reminder, especially in today's world, in the modern world, where we're so often just focused on our own little bubbles. We forget to even make eye contact, let alone offer a genuine greeting.
Right.
I know I'm guilty of that sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm just so busy, walking around with my head down,
Yeah.
looking at my phone.
Mm.
What are your thoughts on how this proactive approach to greetings contrasts with our modern social norms?
Well, it definitely raises some questions, about how we navigate these shared spaces that we live in today.
Right.
Are we mindful of the people around us? Do we contribute to a sense of community, or are we just rushing through our day, completely oblivious to the people we're passing by?
Yeah, we're just like, walking through life like a zombie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think this hadith challenges us to rethink our interactions and consider the impact, even if it's small, that a simple greeting can have.
You hit the nail on the head. It's about shifting our mindset from just being self-absorbed to actually acknowledging the presence and the value of others.
Yeah.
And speaking of shared spaces, the book also talks about etiquette specifically for pathways and public areas.
Yes.
I think it's in Hadiths 5375 to 5377.
That's right. Those hadiths, they discourage unnecessary gatherings on pathways. And this
Ah.
might seem a bit strange, at first glance, but I think it's important to understand the context.
Yeah.
Back then, pathways were like the main arteries for travel and commerce.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine if they were constantly clogged with people.
Oh, my God, it would be chaos.
It would bring everything to a standstill.
It'd be like trying to navigate a crowded market during rush hour.
Exactly.
Just a complete gridlock.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So these hadiths really emphasize respecting those public spaces as a shared resource and making sure that they remain accessible and functional for everyone.
It's being mindful of how our actions impact the community as a whole.
Yes.
But the Hadith doesn't just say, don't gather on pathways.
No, it doesn't.
It goes deeper than that. And it offers guidelines for when, gatherings are unavoidable.
You're absolutely right. Even if a gathering did occur on a pathway, there were certain guidelines to follow.
Like what?
Like lowering your gaze to maintain modesty,
Okay.
exchanging greetings to acknowledge each other's presence, and promoting good while discouraging evil.
Right. So it's not enough to just, avoid doing bad things. You have to actually go out there and do good things.
Exactly. And these principles highlight the Islamic emphasis on not just avoiding harm,
Right.
but actively contributing to a positive and virtuous environment.
So like if we were to apply these principles to modern day city life, what comes to mind?
Oh, that's a great question.
I mean, think about those bustling sidewalks.
Yes.
Those crowded train stations, those
Yeah.
packed buses.
Yeah.
How can we embody these echoes of Ihsan in such settings?
I think it challenges us to be more considerate in these shared spaces.
Okay.
Are we mindful of other people's personal space? Do
Yeah.
we try to make, the experience more pleasant for those around us, even in the midst of all the hustle and bustle?
It's those small acts of kindness
Yeah.
that can sometimes, just transform a situation
Absolutely.
from being stressful to being more harmonious.
It's bringing that intentionality and awareness even to the most mundane aspects of our daily life.
Now, there's another set of hadiths that really resonated with me.
Okay.
It was the ones about the rights of a Muslim upon another.
Okay.
Hadiths 5378 and 5379 lay out 6 key rights that I think are like the foundation
Yes.
for a strong and interconnected community.
They're so beautifully intertwined. And it's not just a one-way street.
Right.
Each right comes with a corresponding responsibility, and that creates this really intricate web of mutual support and care.
Okay, so let's break it down. The 6 rights are returning greetings, saying, Yarhamuk Allah.
May Allah have mercy on you.
After someone sneezes, offering sincere advice when it's sought, visiting the sick, participating in funeral processions, and accepting dinner invitations.
Yes.
These might seem like simple acts, but
They are the building blocks
They are.
of a thriving community.
yeah,
Think about it. Each act strengthens the bonds between individuals, and it fosters a sense of belonging and interconnectedness.
right.
So, like returning a greeting, it acknowledges the other person's existence and shows respect.
Okay.
Saying Yerhamakala after a sneeze is an expression of concern and a prayer for their well-being.
Okay.
Offering advice when sought demonstrates a willingness to share knowledge and support others in their decision-making. Visiting the sick provides comfort and solace during a time of vulnerability.
Okay.
Participating in funeral processions shows solidarity with the grieving family and honors the deceased.
Okay.
Accepting dinner invitations strengthens social ties and fosters a sense of generosity and hospitality.
It's amazing how these seemingly small acts, when they're woven together,
Yes.
create this strong tapestry of community.
Yes.
It's not just about fulfilling an obligation.
Yeah.
It's about approaching each interaction
Right.
with sincerity and genuine care.
It's infusing our actions with that spirit of Ihsan, striving for excellence in our interactions and seeking to embody, the highest ideals of compassion, empathy, and social responsibility.
So which of these rights resonates most strongly with you?
Oh, that's a great question to reflect on.
And how do you see yourself implementing it more consciously in your own daily life?
Well, for me personally, I think it's the emphasis on visiting the sick. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in our own lives and forget to extend that care and support to those who are struggling. And this hadith reminds me to slow down, be present, and offer a listening ear and a helping hand to those who need it most.
That's a beautiful sentiment. And it ties back to what we were discussing earlier
Yeah.
about stepping outside of our own bubbles
Mhm.
and actively contributing to the well-being of those around us. It's these acts of genuine connection that make a community truly thrive. Now things get a little bit more nuanced when we talk about interacting with people of other faiths.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not always so straightforward.
It's not always so straightforward. Right.
Like who should greet first and how should we respond?
Building on these individual rights, the hadith also talks about, interacting with people of other faiths,
Right.
specifically those who are referred to as people of the book.
People of the book.
Yeah.
Okay, now that sounds intriguing.
Yeah.
It's like a chapter from a historical novel.
Right.
Who are these people of the book?
Yeah.
And what's their significance in the context of Islamic teachings?
So it's a term that reflects the respect and recognition that Islam extends to other Abrahamic faiths.
Okay.
Primarily, we're talking about Jews and Christians
Okay.
because they, like Muslims, believe in the divine revelation of scriptures.
Right.
The Quran recognizes the shared heritage and prophetic lineage
Okay.
that connects these faiths, acknowledging figures like Moses and Jesus
So,
as prophets who came before Prophet Muhammad.
so when we talk about interacting with people of the book,
Right.
we're essentially talking about interfaith relations in the context of early Islamic society.
Exactly.
Right.
And Hadiths 5380 to 5390 provide specific guidance
Okay.
on how Muslims should interact with Jews and Christians, particularly when it comes to greetings.
Okay.
The key point here is that Muslims are advised to respond to their greetings with wa alaikum,
Wa alaikum.
which means and upon you,
Okay.
but not to initiate the greeting themselves.
That's interesting. Seems like a subtle distinction, but I imagine there must be deeper reasons behind it.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be disrespectful or anything.
Absolutely not. To understand this guidance, we need to delve into the historical context a little bit.
Okay.
During the Prophet Muhammad's time, the Muslim community was still in its very early stages,
Yeah.
establishing its own identity and practices.
Right.
Maintaining a clear distinction between Islamic teachings and those of other faiths was crucial to avoid any confusion or misinterpretations.
So it was more about like establishing clear boundaries and preserving the unique identity of the Muslim community
Exactly.
while still interacting respectfully with those of different faiths.
Precisely.
Okay.
It was a nuanced approach to interfaith relations, navigating the complexities of upholding one's own beliefs while also coexisting peacefully with others.
It's like a form of cultural and religious sensitivity,
Exactly.
recognizing the importance of respecting differences
Yes.
while fostering a spirit of harmony and mutual understanding.
That's such an important point.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that building bridges across religious divides
Yeah.
requires both respect for one's own tradition and an appreciation for the beliefs of others.
It's not about erasing differences, but finding ways to live harmoniously in spite of them.
Exactly. And it's fascinating to see how these guidelines from centuries ago
Yeah.
still hold so much relevance today.
I know.
In our increasingly interconnected world, navigating interfaith relations with sensitivity and wisdom is more crucial now than ever.
Absolutely. I can't help but wonder how these guidelines were actually put into practice back in the Prophet's time.
You know what?
Like, were there any specific examples?
You're in luck.
Okay.
There are quite a few historical examples that highlight the Prophet Muhammad's interactions
So,
with people of other faiths.
okay.
One particularly striking example is the Treaty of Najran.
Oh, yes, the Treaty of Najran. I've heard of that.
Yes.
It was a treaty between the Prophet and a delegation of Christians
That's right.
from the city of Najran,
Yes.
which is located in what is now Yemen.
Exactly.
I'm a little fuzzy on the details.
Well, it's a remarkable document that exemplifies the Islamic spirit of tolerance
Okay.
and peaceful coexistence.
Okay.
The treaty guaranteed the Christians of Najran full protection, religious freedom, and the right to govern their own affairs.
Oh,
They were free to practice their faith, maintain their churches, and follow their own legal system within their community.
that's incredible. It sounds like a very progressive agreement for its time.
It was.
It challenges some of the misconceptions that people might have about Islam and its approach to other religions.
Exactly. This treaty demonstrates that peaceful coexistence and mutual respect
Right.
were foundational principles in the early Muslim community.
It's a powerful reminder that Islam values justice, compassion, and the preservation of human dignity,
Yep.
regardless of religious affiliation.
Absolutely.
It makes you realize that history is often far more nuanced than the simplified narratives
Yes.
that we sometimes encounter.
Right.
Now, I want to shift gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about something a bit more mystical.
Okay.
The concept of the evil eye.
Okay.
It's a topic that's always fascinated me, and I know it pops up in various cultures and traditions.
It does.
Yeah.
Hadiths 5424 to 5427
Okay.
shed light on the Islamic perspective on the evil eye, acknowledging its existence as a potential source of harm,
Okay.
but emphasizing the importance of seeking protection through spiritual means.
So for those who might not be familiar with this concept,
Right.
could you give us a quick breakdown of what the evil eye is and
Yeah.
how it's generally understood?
So in essence, the evil eye is believed to be a malevolent glare or stare,
Yeah.
often fueled by envy or admiration,
Yep.
that can bring about misfortune or illness upon the recipient.
Hmm.
It's thought to stem from negative energy or ill intentions, even if unintentional,
Okay.
that can have a tangible impact on a person's well-being.
It's interesting how this belief kind of transcends cultures and time periods.
Yeah.
I mean, you find similar concepts in ancient Greek, Roman,
Right.
even some modern day traditions.
It speaks to the human tendency to try to explain the unexplainable,
Yeah.
to grapple with the mysteries of fate and fortune,
Uh-huh.
and to find ways to protect ourselves from perceived threats, both seen and unseen.
Now, from an Islamic perspective, what are the recommended ways to protect yourself from the evil eye?
Okay.
The Hadith mentions supplications, right?
Yes, indeed. While acknowledging the potential influence of the evil eye, Islam emphasizes that true protection comes from Allah.
Okay.
The Hadith encourages us to seek refuge in Allah's protection through sincere supplications, asking for His shield against harm and negativity.
Okay.
Specific verses of the Quran, like Surah Al-Falaq and Surah An-Nas, are also believed to offer spiritual protection from envy and evil.
So it's about acknowledging the potential for harm, but ultimately placing your trust and reliance on
Exactly.
Allah's power and protection.
It's a reminder that even in the face of these perceived threats, our ultimate source of security and well-being lies in our connection with the divine.
That's such a comforting thought. It shifts the focus from fear and anxiety
Right.
to a place of trust and surrender.
Exactly.
Now, does Sahih Muslim also touch upon any practical remedies or preventative measures
Yes, it does.
that people can take in addition to supplications?
It doesn't just focus on spiritual protection, but it also acknowledges the importance of taking those practical steps.
Okay.
For instance, some scholars interpret the Hadith's recommendation to lower one's gaze
Okay.
as a way to minimize the risk of attracting those envious looks or negative attention.
So it's like, be humble.
Exactly.
Don't show off.
Don't invite that negative energy.
Yeah, don't invite that negative energy.
It's a reminder that our actions and demeanor can really influence how we interact with the world around us.
Sometimes prevention is just as important as seeking a cure.
Absolutely.
I want to move on to another fascinating aspect of Sahih Muslim,
Okay.
the guidance on permissible remedies and treatments.
All right.
It's like peeking into an ancient apothecary
I love that analogy.
and discovering, the healing wisdom of the past.
It's like stepping back in time and witnessing this fusion of traditional knowledge
Right.
and practical approaches to healthcare.
Hadiths 5466 to 5492
Yes.
offer a glimpse into the various remedies and treatments.
That were sanctioned by the Prophet Muhammad,
Okay.
showcasing this blend of natural substances, spiritual practices, and physical therapies.
Let's dive into some of these remedies.
Yep.
What are some of the specific treatments mentioned in the Hadith?
Well, the Hadith mentions a really fascinating array of treatments,
Yeah.
some of which might sound familiar even today. For instance, honey
Okay, honey.
is highlighted for its healing properties, and it was used for various ailments from soothing a sore throat to treating wounds.
Yeah.
Cupping,
Cupping.
an ancient practice of applying suction cups to the skin,
Yeah.
was also endorsed by the Prophet
Mhm.
and is believed to relieve pain inflammation and improve blood circulation.
Okay.
Cauterization, a method of using heat to seal wounds or stop bleeding, is
Uh,
also mentioned.
Now, obviously, with cauterization, you have to be very careful.
Obviously, this is approached with much more caution
Yeah.
and medical supervision today.
It's remarkable how some of these ancient remedies, like honey and cupping,
Right.
have stood the test of time
Yeah.
and are still practiced today,
Mm.
often with scientific backing to support, their effectiveness.
It's a testament to the wisdom and observational skills of those early healers
Right.
who recognized the power of nature to heal and restore.
Absolutely.
It's a reminder that traditional knowledge often holds valuable insights that can really complement modern medical practices.
The Hadith also mentions other remedies.
Yes.
Indian aloes wood
Known for its fragrant and medicinal properties.
and nigella seed.
Yes, believed to boost immunity and have anti-inflammatory effects.
It's like a treasure trove of natural remedies, each with its own unique properties and applications.
It is.
I'm already inspired to do some more research
I know, me too.
and explore the potential benefits of these practices.
Yeah.
Maybe incorporate some of them into my own life.
It's fascinating to rediscover the wisdom of the past and see how it can inform our modern approaches to health and well-being.
What's the overall message or takeaway
Yeah.
that we can glean from the Hadith's emphasis on seeking treatment
Right.
and using permissible remedies?
Well, it highlights the Islamic emphasis on taking proactive steps
Yeah.
to maintain your health and well-being.
Yeah.
It's about acknowledging that while ultimately our lives are in Allah's hands, we have a responsibility to care for ourselves and seek out available means of healing.
So it's about finding that balance
Exactly.
between trusting in Allah's will
Yes.
and taking practical steps.
To address our physical and emotional needs.
A holistic approach to health
It is.
that recognizes the interconnectedness of body, mind, and spirit.
Exactly. It's about viewing health as a multifaceted concept that encompasses not just the absence of disease,
Right.
but a state of overall well-being and vitality.
And it encourages us to explore both traditional and modern approaches to healing,
Yes.
seeking out what works best for us while remaining, within the ethical guidelines of our faith.
That's such a valuable perspective. It encourages us to be active participants in our own healing journeys.
Yeah.
Seeking out knowledge, making informed decisions, and embracing that holistic approach to health and well-being.
But before we get too carried away with exploring these remedies,
Right.
let's go back to this fascinating topic of the evil eye.
Okay. So, as we kind of delve deeper into this whole concept of the evil eye, I think it's important to remember that the belief in its power isn't meant to, like, instill fear or paranoia or anything like that.
Right. It's not about walking around, suspicious of everyone and
Exactly.
being afraid that someone's going to, give you the evil eye.
It's more about cultivating a sense of awareness,
Right.
both of our own, like, inner state
Okay.
and the impact that we might have on others.
It's about recognizing that our thoughts, emotions, and intentions can actually have a ripple effect,
Exactly.
and they can influence the energy around us.
Yes.
So it's encouraging us to focus on cultivating positive qualities
Mm.
like gratitude, humility, and genuinely wishing well for others.
It's like a spiritual practice in a way, a
Mhm.
reminder to kind of check in with ourselves.
Right.
Make sure our hearts are aligned, with good intentions.
And radiating positivity rather than absorbing negativity.
Exactly. And this really ties back to the broader theme of Ihsan, which permeates all aspects of Islamic teachings.
Right.
It's about striving for excellence in our inner world as well as our outward actions,
Yeah.
seeking to embody, the best versions of ourselves.
It's a reminder that true well-being
Yes.
encompasses not just our physical health,
Right.
but also our emotional and spiritual state.
It's about cultivating that inner peace and harmony, which then ripples outwards
Yeah.
into our interactions and relationships.
And one thing that struck me throughout our exploration of Sahih Muslim Book 26 is this emphasis on mindfulness in every aspect of life.
I've noticed that too. It's like these guidelines are designed to cultivate this heightened sense of awareness, not just in those grand gestures, but in the seemingly mundane, everyday interactions.
Like it's the little things.
Exactly. It's about bringing that intentionality and presence to everything we do.
Right.
From the way we greet others to the way we navigate shared spaces, from the way we care for our bodies to the way we protect ourselves from spiritual harm.
It's about infusing even the smallest acts with that spirit of Ihsan,
Yes.
seeking to make each interaction, each decision, a reflection of our highest values.
Absolutely. And I think this brings us to a key takeaway
Okay.
that encapsulates the essence of Sahih Muslim Book 26. And it's the realization that Islamic etiquette is not merely a set of outward actions.
Right.
It's a reflection of an inward disposition.
It's about cultivating a heart that's sensitive, compassionate, and mindful of the impact we have on others.
Exactly. It's about embodying those qualities of humility, respect, and excellence in all that we do.
And it's a journey
Yes.
of continuous growth and refinement.
It's a lifelong pursuit of aligning our hearts and actions with the divine will.
It's a beautiful reminder that the path to true excellence lies not just in adhering to rules, but in cultivating this inner state of grace and awareness.
Absolutely. And as we conclude our deep dive
Mhm.
into Sahih Muslim Book 26, I really hope our listeners feel inspired to embrace this journey, to explore these echoes of Ihsan, and discover how they can enrich their own lives and the lives of those around them.
I love that. And on that note, I want to thank you so much for joining us on this journey, for guiding us through these fascinating insights, and for shedding light on this timeless wisdom contained within these ancient texts.
Oh, the pleasure was all mine.
It's been a truly enriching journey. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Islamic etiquette. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and feel inspired to continue exploring these echoes of Ihsan in your own lives. Until next time, keep seeking, keep reflecting, and keep striving for excellence in all that you do.